You think removing a world leader is like a spy movie. You imagine a man on a roof with a long rifle and a scope. You are completely wrong. If you shoot a president, you make him a martyr and start a global war. The real agency does not create martyrs, they create tragedies. A perfectly executed operation looks exactly like a natural heart attack, or a sudden stroke, or a tragic, unavoidable accident. To pull this off, you have to bypass the most secure ring of protection on Earth. You are fighting thousands of elite guards, dogs, and invisible surveillance nets. This is the highest and most dangerous tier of intelligence work. You are not sent to gather information, you are sent to change history. If you are caught, your government will legally deny your existence. You will be erased in a dark underground cell. This is the step-by-step anatomy of an impossible mission. Welcome to the Ghost Protocol. Level 1. The Briefing. You are 38. You are called to a secure, windowless basement in Langley. The Director of National Intelligence is waiting for you. He slides a single, heavily classified folder across the metal table. The target is the tyrannical president of a hostile, resource-rich nation. He has secretly armed his military with highly restricted weapons. Intelligence confirms he plans to launch a regional war in exactly 30 days. A conventional military strike is absolutely out of the question. It would trigger a catastrophic global response. The only solution is to quietly remove the head of the snake. The director tells you that you will have zero official support. If you fail, the government will paint you as a rogue terrorist. You open the folder and look at the blueprints of the presidential palace. It is a fortress, triple-layered walls, biometric scanners, and anti-aircraft batteries. The president never eats food that hasn't been tested by a chemist. He travels in a convoy of 5 identical, heavily armored vehicles. The director asks if the operation is possible. You close the folder, look him in the eye, and nod your head once. You are given a massive, untraceable budget in cryptocurrency. You spend the next 2 weeks developing a flawless new identity. You become a high-level telecommunications engineer from Switzerland. You memorized your fake childhood, your fake accent, and your fake technical degree. The agency loads specialized disguise tools into your luggage. You board a commercial flight headed straight into the enemy capital. There is no turning back. You are walking directly into the lion's den. Level 2. The Infiltration. You land at the heavily militarized international airport. The tension in the air is instantly noticeable. Soldiers with heavy rifles patrol every single terminal. You approach the customs checkpoint. This is the first critical test. The border guard scans your Swiss passport and stares at you coldly. He asks why a telecommunications engineer is visiting during a crisis. You smile politely and show him a legitimate contract to upgrade the city's cell towers. You complain about the heat to make yourself seem like a soft, harmless civilian. The guard stamps your passport and waves you through. You check into a luxurious downtown hotel exactly 2 miles from the presidential palace. Your room is almost certainly bugged by the secret police. You unpack your clothes and casually turn on the television. You use a specialized digital sweeper hidden in your watch to find the microphones. There are 3. 1 in the lamp, 1 behind the mirror, and 1 in the phone. You do not disable them. If you disable them, they will know you are a professional. Instead, you perform perfectly for the microphones. You make boring scripted phone calls to your fake company in Europe. You order room service and complain about the slow internet speed. For 3 days, you establish a flawless pattern of mundane behavior. The secret police lose interest in you, marking you as a harmless foreigner. You are now officially a ghost in the machine. Under the cover of darkness, you begin assembling your specialized equipment. You take parts out of your electric toothbrush, your laptop battery, and your shoes. You are building a highly advanced, untraceable micro-drone. Level 3. The Asset. Even with the best technology, you cannot penetrate the palace blindly. You need an inside man to give you the precise security schedules. You don't target a low-level guard, they don't know enough. You target the Deputy Chief of Presidential Security. The agency has studied him for 2 years. He is brutally loyal to the president, but he has a fatal weakness. His young daughter has a rare aggressive illness. The medicine she desperately needs is experimental and only available in the United States. The hostile regime cannot acquire it due to international sanctions. You track the deputy chief to a quiet hospital on the edge of the city. You sit on the bench next to him in the dark courtyard. You do not threaten him, you simply slide a small medical cooler onto the bench. Inside is a 6-month supply of the exact experimental medicine his daughter needs. He looks inside, and you see the absolute desperation in his eyes. You tell him that a lifetime supply is waiting on a private plane, along with a new life in America. But to get on that plane, he must give you the president's private schedule. He is a trained killer, and he could easily end your life right there. But he is a father first. He takes the cooler, whispers a time and a location, and walks away into the dark. You return to your hotel room with the golden key to the fortress. The president takes a private, highly secure walk in the palace gardens every morning at 7 a.m. For exactly 4 minutes, he is completely exposed to the open sky. The airspace is heavily jammed, but your drone operates on an analog, untraceable frequency. The window of opportunity is incredibly small, but it is enough. Level 4. The Execution. It is 6 a.m. You leave the hotel wearing a dark gray maintenance uniform. You carry your tools in a heavy metallic case. You access the roof of a high-rise commercial building located 2 miles from the palace. The vantage point is perfect. You can see the green canopy of the presidential gardens. You open the case and power up the control terminal. The micro-drone hums to life. It is the size of a large hummingbird. It carries a single payload, a microscopic dart coated in a highly classified chemical compound. It is designed to cause an immediate catastrophic neurological failure. To any doctor in the world, it will look exactly like a massive natural stroke. The clock hits 6:58 a.m. You launch the drone. It is completely silent, gliding above the morning smog. You navigate it via a live camera feed, flying over the heavily armed perimeter walls. At 7 a.m. exactly, the president steps out of the armored doors into the garden. He is surrounded by 6 massive bodyguards, but they are looking at the ground and the gates. None of them are looking for a tiny speck hovering 50 feet above them in the morning sun. Your hands are completely steady. This is what you were built for. You pilot the drone directly over the target. You press the release trigger. The microscopic dart falls silently, hitting the back of the president's neck. It dissolves instantly upon contact with the skin, leaving no mark. The president suddenly stops walking. He clutches his head. He collapses heavily onto the manicured grass. The bodyguards panic, screaming into their radios, completely confused. You pilot the drone into a nearby incinerator vent, destroying it instantly. The operation is a success. Level 5. The Extraction. You wipe your fingerprints from the control case and leave it on the roof. You casually walk down the stairs to the street level. The city is still quiet, but you know a massive shockwave is coming. 10 minutes later, every single emergency siren in the capital begins to wail. It is a terrifying, deafening sound that shakes the windows. The military immediately declares a state of extreme martial law. Heavy tanks roll out onto the main avenues, blocking all traffic. Heavily armed soldiers begin setting up checkpoints at every intersection. The airport is entirely shut down. All borders are sealed tight. You cannot fly out. Your Swiss identity is now useless. The secret police will start tearing the city apart looking for foreign operatives. You move to your secondary extraction plan. You navigate the chaotic, panicked streets, blending into the terrified crowds. You arrive at an unassuming laundry facility in a poor neighborhood. Inside is a local asset who works for a foreign embassy. He doesn't say a word. He opens the trunk of a diplomatic vehicle. You climb inside the dark, cramped trunk, and the lid slams shut. The car drives toward the heavily guarded national border. In the trunk, the heat is suffocating, and the smell of exhaust is overwhelming. You feel the car stop. You hear the angry voices of the border guards. They are demanding to search the vehicle. The driver aggressively invokes diplomatic immunity, threatening an international incident. The tension hangs by a single fragile thread for 5 minutes. Finally, the car accelerates forward. You have crossed the border into safety. Level 6. The Erasure. 2 days later, you are back in Washington, D.C. You sit in a quiet cafe, reading the international news. The headlines confirm the tragic, sudden death of the president due to a massive stroke. The hostile regime is completely paralyzed by a sudden power vacuum. Their planned military offensive is permanently canceled. You single-handedly averted a massive regional war. You walk into the secure basement in Langley to give your final report. The director meets you. He does not shake your hand. He simply nods and slides a new folder across the table. Inside is a massive offshore bank account number and a new passport. It is a reward, but it is also a clear severance package. You leave the building and walk into the rain. The adrenaline is completely gone, leaving a cold, heavy emptiness. You realize the terrifying truth of what you have accomplished. You proved that the agency can successfully remove a world leader without a trace. But by proving it is possible, you became the most dangerous liability on Earth. You know the exact method, the technology, and the people involved. You are the ultimate loose end. As you walk down the street, you notice a gray sedan following you. You spot a man reading a newspaper, but his eyes are tracking your every move. The agency is no longer protecting you. They are actively watching you. You survived the impossible mission behind enemy lines, but your real fight for survival is just beginning in your own country. You are a ghost, and the agency is preparing to exorcise you. Level 7. The Burn Notice. You return to your secure apartment, locking the heavy deadbolts. You know the protocol better than anyone. They will come for you tonight. You pack a small, rugged bag with cash, multiple passports, and encrypted drives. You hear a very faint, almost silent click at your front door. The agency's elite cleanup team has arrived to permanently erase you. You don't panic. You built the security systems for this exact scenario. You press a hidden button under your desk. A massive, blinding strobe light flashes in the hallway, disorienting the team. You slip out through a hidden maintenance hatch in the floor. You drop into the dark subway tunnels running beneath the city. The hunters swarm your apartment, finding only an empty room and a ticking timer. You navigate the pitch-black tunnels, using night vision contacts. You emerge miles away, blending perfectly into the late-night commuter crowd. You access an offshore account using a burner phone. The agency has already frozen your primary funds, but they missed the deepest accounts. You buy a ticket on a cargo ship heading to a country with no extradition treaty. As you stand on the deck of the ship, watching America fade into the distance, you realize the truth. You were the sharpest weapon the government ever created. But weapons are eventually decommissioned, destroyed, or locked away. You will spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Every stranger in a cafe could be the next operative sent to finish the job. You are a ghost, haunting the forgotten corners of the world. You eliminated a president, but the cost was your own existence.